What is up, guys? Welcome back to Speed Turtles. And it has been a while. Actually, it's been a month. And honestly, I've just been figuring some things out with the channel. I've had a busy life here recently, and a lot of things have happened in the Sonic community. I mean, we've got so much stuff. So, you know what? I thought of this video when I was listening to the new audio recordings for Sonic X Shadow Generations. And this game is really important to me because honestly, it has like a weird story. I mean, like it's a weird reason why I got this game, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it right now. So I got this game when I was waiting for the bus in about like first grade. So like my neighbor, he gave me the original Sonic Generations, and he said we're both waiting for the bus, obviously, because we both get on the same bus. And so he's like, yo, bro, I know you like Sonic. Check out this game. I'll let you have it because it's just too hard for me. I was like, too hard for you? I was like, what is it? And so he pulls it out of his backpack, and it's Sonic Generations. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I've never even played this game before. He goes, yeah, bro, just have it. And I run inside really quickly because, I don't know when the bus is coming. I, like, lay it down. I shut the door back, and I run back on the bus. And all day I was thinking about playing it. And, it was just satisfying when I finally played it. And so when I found out that they changed some of the dialogue and the clips, I was kind of upset, But honestly, maybe it's for the better. And so I decided I'm going to be doing a Sonic X Shadow Generations voice comparison. And just, seeing voice actor versus voice actor in a battle, Let's see whose voice actor is better to create the most perfect Sonic Generations. So let's go and hop right into it. And, I'll show, like some people have the same voice actor, like Sonic. So Roger Craig Smith, so we're just going to be based on performances, based on the voice lines that was written by Ian Flynn. So, we're just going to get that out of the way. So let's go ahead and hop right into it right now. One more thing before the video starts. I just need y'all to hit that like and subscribe button so I can continue to make videos like this and educate anyone about my favorite franchise, which is Sonic the Hedgehog. Alright, let's go ahead and hop into it. Okay, so the way this is going to work out is I'm going to show the clip and then I'm going to explain it because a lot of times, you might not catch it. And so I've wrote down all of what they say, and let's go ahead and show the original clip right now.
You totally got me this time. I had no idea. I'm no stranger than rescuing genies in magic books or saving aliens in an interstellar amusement park. I'm more concerned about finding our friends. And I guess we have to run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't be a tomorrow. Okay, whatever you are, if you want to avoid an embarrassing beatdown, you better give up now. You totally got me this time. I had no idea. Stranger than fighting evil genies or saving aliens in an interstellar amusement park. Right now, we should focus on finding our friends. Okay, Gruesome, you're cornered. So how about you just give up and restore the timeline like you found it?
Okay, as you can see from the original clip, he doesn't really say anything that different. All he does is he says the same thing, but he pushes Amy in the face, kind of like ignoring her so that he can continue to talk to Tails. But as you can see in Sonic X Shadow Generations, he seems to just be, she seems to just be holding cupcakes. Honestly, I found Sonic pushing Amy out of the way kind of more funny than just completely ignoring her. So we're going to go OG with the win for this one. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is when, he's talking to Tails at Green Hill. He says, no stranger than rescuing genies in magic books or saving aliens in an interstellar amusement park. I'm more concerned about finding our friends. Now, that part's not really different, but when he says, I'm more concerned on finding our friends, in Sonic X Shadow Generations, he says, right, now we need to focus on finding our friends. Or now we should focus on finding our friends. And you see, I guess it's not that, not that different. Not really changing. So this one, we're going to say it's a tie. Also, in the beginning of the video, I forgot to mention that if the line is just the same, we're not even counting it because, the line's the same. So we're just going to move on to the next one, which is when he's talking to Tails at the beach. He says, then I guess we gotta run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't be a tomorrow. And, he just says the same thing in Sonic Shadow Generations. So, yet again, tie. Not really, I don't really care. So, we're gonna move on to the next one, which is when he's talking to the Time Eater. This one is probably the biggest change, and he says, in the original, he says, okay, whatever you are, if you want to avoid an embarrassing beatdown, then you better give up now. And you see, honestly, okay, I don't really know why you would change it. And so now he says, okay, Gruesome, you're cornered. So how about you just give up and restore the timeline like you found it? And honestly, I'm going to give this one to the new one because it shows, Sonic's opinion. He thinks he's a gruesome, horrible beast instead of just going, whatever you are. I don't know. It must have been just, early 2010s Sonic goofiness. Something about, the word gruesome seems a little bit better. So we're going to give this one to the new. One thing crazy about this is that they both play Tails, right? But in Naruto, Colleen O'Shaughnessy plays Ino, and Kate Higgins plays Sakura. And if you don't know Naruto, those two characters are rivals. It's crazy. Well, at least they played them in the English dub. It's crazy that happened, that it ended up those two voice actresses were known as rivals, and then now in my video, they're facing off on the character of Miles Tails per hour. So, let's go ahead and show the clips to see who is better, Ino or Sakura. Alright, I'm just kidding. Another thing I have to address now that it's two different voice actors, or any of these voice actors, I have no beef against any of them. This is just my personal opinion on their performance on these characters that I love and enjoy. Alright, with that, let's hop into it.
Thanks, Sonic. I thought I was dead, floating without a body in a black limbo. Ugh, I'm gonna have nightmares for weeks. This chemical plant feels familiar. I'd never forget a smell like this. And that pink water makes me really nervous for some reason. It sounds like the same thing that kidnapped your friends. Our friends. You know what I mean. When that thing goes through time, it tears space apart, leaving the areas empty and dead, and sticking them in this weird white limbo. Thanks, Sonic. That was awful. I couldn't tell where I was or what had happened. Ugh, like I was trapped in a nightmare. This is definitely the chemical plant, but we're not remotely on West Side Island. Did that monster do this? And then it looks like it dragged your friends here. Our friends. You know what I mean. That thing keeps jumping back and forth through time, consuming the dimensional energy, and all that's left behind is this lifeless white void.
Okay, there were a lot of differences. I'm sure you noticed them, but we're still going to go over them. You see, Tails with Kate Higgins, when he was coming back to life, he says, "Thanks, Sonic. I thought I was dead, floating without a body in a black limbo," and he shivers. "I'm going to have nightmares for weeks." What's crazy about that is that they kind of seem to, at least how I see it, they seem to tone it down with Colleen O'Shaughnessy. They say, "Thanks, Sonic. That was awful. I could not tell where I was or what happened," and he shudders again. "It was like I was trapped in a nightmare." You see, I see what I mean by they tone it down. Tails literally says, "I thought I was dead." They don't say anything about death. They just say, ugh, I was scared. It was crazy. Which also gets me confused. Do they know where they are? They trapped? They know they're, alive? But it answers that question in the one with Kate Higgins because it says, "I thought I was dead," it's so null, so frozen, so horrible that they don't know when you go over to Colleen O'Shaughnessy, it says that he was just scared, yeah, you would assume, at least I would, that I was dead if all I saw was, black nothingness, but all it said with Colleen O'Shaughnessy that he was scared. For this one, it's just tough. I think, and I'm going to compare this because Sega Shadow Generations likes to take a darker tone. at least with the shadow part. We're gonna go with Kate Higgins. Okay, I think she got that one because I at least would think that I was dead too. I mean, if we're talking like literally, I don't believe that when I die I see black nothing. I actually believe in Jesus Christ, and I pray that everyone else does too. And I was just saying, if it was fake world, I think I would believe I was dead. But anyway, so next we're gonna move on. When Tails goes, when you see him in the chemical plant, when him and Sonic are in the chemical plant as modern Tails, he goes, "This chemical plant feels familiar. I never would forget a smell like this. And that pink water makes me really nervous for some reason." What's crazy about that is that they reference, the anxiety of the water levels in Sonic games, like Chemical Plant, the pink water. I used to be so scared when I would hear the, like the constant music. I like how they acknowledge that. And so when you go over to Colleen O'Shaughnessy, she says, "This is definitely the chemical plant, but we're not remotely on the West Side Island. What, did that monster do this?" Okay, so for this one, it's really hard. Because like I said, I like the reference to the pink water. That's cool. But at the same time, when Tails goes, he knows it's the chemical plant because they know that it's the same Sonic and the same Tails. Like, Tails is like, "Is this the chemical plant?" Like, you would know if it was the past, Like, I remember things. I think Tails, even as a genius, would remember things, because he's a genius. So I think we're going to have to give it to Colleen O'Shaughnessy because it acknowledges that, they are still the same Sonic and Tails, but they just have been transported into a different timeline, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what we're going with. All right, next is when they move on to Classic Tails. And Classic Tails for Kate Higgins, it says when he's at the couldn't really tell where he was at. I think he was, I couldn't really tell where he was at, but he was just talking. And it says, "It sounds like the same thing that kidnapped your friends. I mean, our friends. You know what I mean?" Like, he's saying, like, sounds like the same thing that, so they must have said something like, sounds like the same thing. It looks like that monster. So Classic Tails is going, sounds like the same thing that kidnapped your friends, and then realizing that it is them, so our friends. And then it says in Colleen O'Shaughnessy, it says, "And then it looks like it drug your friends here. I mean, our friends. You know what I mean?" I don't know. This one's pretty much a tie. It's just different words but saying the same thing. So we're going to go with a tie on this one. Next, we have another Classic Tales line where it goes, "When that thing goes through time, it tears space apart, leaving two areas empty and dead, and sticking them in this weird white limbo." Now, you see, he's just explaining what the time meter does, pretty much, I think. And so we're just going to move on to Colleen O'Shaughnessy, where it says, "That thing keeps jumping back and forth, consuming the dimensional energy and all that's left behind. Is this lifeless white void?" Honestly, I don't know what to choose for this one. This one is another one that's the same. But honestly, something about just the way that Kate Higgins just says it, I guess. I don't really know. I think that I'm going to give it to Kate Higgins. And so for the final end, we're going to tally up the points. Drum roll, please. Kate Higgins, let's go. I think she was a good Tails personally. Colleen O'Shaughnessy is great, but when I hear Colleen O'Shaughnessy, I think she did a good job as movie Tails, but in my game Tails, probably has to be Kate Higgins. And let's move on to our next character, which is Amy Rose. With Amy, it's kind of the same case with Roger Craig Smith. It was the same voice actor, just different lines. And you see, the main thing I want to point out with Amy in this form of Generations is that Sega seems to be taking Amy into a more mature approach, more than a just, "I'm in love with Sonic, that's my whole character" approach, which I like and hate at the same time. See, what I mean by that is kind of Amy's whole character was based on that she likes Sonic. I bet that's why it's still around. But, I'm fine with a strong, female character, because a lot of times Sonic needs that, because oftentimes Amy's kind of pointless. What's the point of her being around if she's not doing anything. But let's just see how much I like it. Also, another thing I was thinking while editing this video is that, nostalgia does take place, but I'm going to try to keep the nostalgia at a minimum. So let's go ahead and roll those clips right now.
You saved me, Sonic. I was afraid I'd never be able to flirt with you again. You saved me, Sonic. I'll be sure to return the favor next time around.
Not really worrying about that right now, Amy.
Okay, for me, this one is probably really tough because something extra was added in Sonic X Shadow Generations. Sonic actually talked instead of just mindlessly shaking his head no. He actually spoke. He actually said something to Amy. But then it also comes into that Amy is being more independent in this clip than she is with, oh, Sonic, I'm just going to flirt with you next time. I thought I was never able to do that again. And honestly, I'm going Sonic X Shadow Generations with this one. She's more independent, she's more fierce, and she's gonna repay Sonic next time around. And you also get a cool Sonic talking clip as well, which was not in the original. So this is the only clip of Amy that I'm really gonna be using. So Sonic X Shadow Generations wins for this one. So let's do a quick recap. What cutscenes do I think is better, the original or the new? Honestly, I think they're pretty good in their own separate ways. What I mean by that is it depends on the time frame. Back in 2011, everyone thought, for Amy, a character we just covered, Amy was just a character that was there for Sonic. Now in 2024, especially with the Frontiers gameplay you're watching, it shows that Amy has begun to be more independent and more of a good worker, has good work ethic ever since she took up the role of the leader of the Freedom Fighters. Well, not Freedom Fighters, Resistance in Sonic Forces. She's the leader of that, so she's become more independent. And I don't know. For a Generations remake, I think they did a great job. So I'm going to leave it up to you, the viewer. Comment down below what was your favorite part of Sonic X Shadow Generations and your favorite part of the original Sonic Generations. And which one do you think won the contest? So, in case you want some more characters to be shown, also comment that down below. Make sure to like and subscribe one more time, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.